The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens? Lapino. Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. Lapino's frantic message said that the Ravens were going to kill him for being a rebel spy. And that he had a clever plan. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Or so Lapino had told him over the far speaker anyway. Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? The Ravens had taken the town. Renato had seen villages emptied like this. All the people taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. Renato hoped the people were just hiding.
As I didn't even have my headset plugged in. That was embarrassing. Jesus.
Renato looked around the empty village and reflected. The Sky Ripper had turned out to be far too dangerous to be used. Time to turn to what he knew best.
Oh crap. Suicider. These guys' asses. Let's get on with the story.
Renato remembered when he'd
sweet
first
hell.
stolen one of these. Good times.
Get the fuck out of here. Let's go this way. Yeah, let's go this way. What's up here? Oh, okay. That damn thing. Ah, fuck. I was texting someone. Damn it. Ah, fuck. I feel stupid now. Get some a bit stored food. Eat it.
Ravens
And they're
were
gone.
landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lapino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lapino. Well, unless he really was a traitor, obviously. Then they'd probably pin a medal on his chest.
What's down here? Some more ore. I'll take that. One day I'm gonna be big on YouTube. I don't know, I'm being weird.
This was way better than being able to shrink down to the size of an ant. What was that all about anyway?
Fuck your shield. Kill him. I'm pretty sure I'm at the end. I can't go back. God damn it.
Lapino would betray him. But now Renato knew that. What would Lapino do if he knew that Lapino was going to betray him? Well, he'd concoct some crazy scheme, wouldn't he? That used Lapino's betrayal against him and it would blow up in his face. Yeah. Maybe he was overthinking this. Well, that would be a first.
Ooh, it's over here.
It was time for a little exploration.
Something about that. I don't know. Can't really read it all that well. Give me that sweet ore.
guys dress up as for Halloween? Just wondering.
Wow, that hurt. Damn. It's almost Halloween in real time.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer, and oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing.
Cheddar!
It must have great power.
Let's go with that one.
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in Sword Fu school. And you're still mad for her, the rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans. Chuckled
The cheddary biscuit.
She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm burping like it's the pop I'm drinking.
The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn... Renato
this bad boy
checked
open.
for a false Nope.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the perfect ending to this game. Hopefully I can find it out. There's still so many endings to the game. Wait, let's go back. Pretty sure I went through this way earlier.
Kill the fox!
Fuck you!
Nobody said they're original.
Eat it. Oh shit, oh shit. Yeah, okay, there we go. Pop this bad boy open. Get the ore. Now let's go.
This was the nice part of town. But the ravens had been through here. They like to take shiny things home to their nests.
Bunch of birds. Okay. I don't like birds, really. Kind of annoying. So I don't have any qualms from killing a bunch of birds. Die already, damn it. Stab. There we go. Is it me? Wrong sword.
Had that door been open before?
I don't know. Ah, I've been through here last time. Oh, well, let's just go ahead and come on through here and open up shit. Do that yet?
Well, no sense collecting more materials. It was time to make something pointy.
That is true. Time to go.
Why
The
was
shatter.
Lupino urging him to capture Zenobia? Obviously, it was a trap. But you never knew how Lupino thought. Sometimes his plans were so convoluted they did the exact opposite to what Lupino wanted. There must be some way to play on that, Bernardo thought. Gogglers. Bernardo hated gogglers. It was almost impossible to sneak past them. If one didn't spot you, another one would.
Bam, bam, bam. They're dead.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lupino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renardo hiding inside a monstrous watermelon.
What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renardo.
Let's go for it.
Oh, this is gonna be fun, said Lupino, as he ran to go set up his marvelous plan.
I already didn't know when which one
The
to pick, so I just picked
mysterious
that one.
sword from the east made you so fast you could catch a fly with your chopsticks. If that's what you really wanted.
Or ham. Let's chop up these birds real quick. I'm done with this shit. Oh, it's just this chest. Wait. That chatter key. The little fluff butt. The little kitty cat. Got her going to the school. Fuck that energy. Excuse me.
He knew the known knowns, and even some of the known unknowns. But he didn't know the unknown unknown. You dig?
That didn't make any sense. Ah. Imperfect by ass.
Renato felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong. But against all odds, Pino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Renato jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat.
Renato, she said. Are those new scars? They look good on you. You never return my velvet jacket. It was my favorite. You look stupid in velvet. Oh, what does an imperial princess know about style? Oh, get a room, you two, said Lapino.
But the fleet was coming on fast, so they put Zenobia on the Farfarer and took her east over the Nexus.
She'd vanished from swordfish school, from his life, without even saying goodbye. Without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted daughter. Ah, Lapino was right, Renato thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed. And then she jumped, with horror. Renato saw Zenobia plummeting. Then he saw the Nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet. Ah, she'll head for the Imperial outpost, yelled Lapino. You have to catch her.
God damn it.
Cats can run faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase.
Die already, stupid ravens. There we go, got some of that, some of this, and let's go. Oh god, the game almost crashed. I think.
These
That
platforms were great. Renato wanted one for his house.
If he even had a house. I don't think my fox dude even has a house. What else is here? Of course. Die. Damn.
He was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base. What did they do to her? Maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But, after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his.
It did not matter how outnumbered the rebellion was. The secret Zenobia held would level the playing field. Code, passwords. She could wreak havoc with just a few whispers to a far speaker.
Kill some ravens. Fuck this shit.
Renato reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him. Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run. Oh, you left without saying goodbye. Again, he said, please. I'm enjoying this a little too much. She said, shaken. Oh, spare us the chit-chat, would you? Said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans. All the way back to the Farfarer, Lapino nagged Renato about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia. How that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebels' secret base. Renato didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her. Couldn't he just talk to her?
As they
Let's
reached
take her to the
ruins,
base.
Renato could see ravens everywhere, searching for the rebel base. They'd have to hide the Farfarer or go on foot. What if we get separated? Asked Lapino, for once thinking ahead. I'll show you a map to the base. Renato told Lapino. Renato, don't do this, said Zenobia. We were friends once. We... Shut it, witch, or I'll shackle your mouth too, said Lapino. See? Renato thought. There was no way Lapino was working for the Empire. He really hated Zenobia. And then, a few moments later, they touched down.
I'm still thinking Lapino's no good.
Zenobia off the Farfarer. Renato readied himself for the battle ahead. I'm sorry I nicked your jacket, she said. It's just... Oh, God. It's stupid, but... It smelled like you. What? He said, confused.
He's me.
Why didn't you ride? Why didn't you first speak? Oh, save the romantic nostalgia. Shrieked Lapino. So Renato launched himself down the path to the secret base.
Fuck these pots, though. Aw. It's a chest.
He thought about
Dead.
Hypatia. Oh, she'd been an amazing rabbit. She could talk to him about comics, and talk to her son about history and battles, and talk to scholars about the ancient tomes hidden deep in the vaults of the library of Ubar. Oh, Renato really missed her.
Wait! I'm two bitches! Fuck those, you
Renato
ravens.
had misgivings. It had been Lapino's idea to capture Zenobia. Lapino who'd guessed she'd run to the outpost. There was something wrong with the way none of Lapino's plans had gone wrong yet. It wasn't like him.
Excuse me.
They caught their breath. It's beautiful, she said, looking at the ruins. This used to be the library of Ubar, he said, before your father's ravens smashed it. Do we have to talk politics? She asked. That's not how I want to remember you, she said with an odd, wistful look at her face. She was as beautiful as she'd ever been, and as brave. Lapino huffed. They got back on the trail.
Time to get going again. The bunny's getting mad. Fuck that bunny rabbit though. Fuck. Fuck.
Boy, if looks could kill.
There we go. Bam, it's dead. Fuck. Oh, fuck.
Wallabies, he thought. Why did it have to be wallabies?
Oh, man. Pachoo, pachoo. Until this thing goes by. Strike. Still going down.
The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
Fuck everything. Fucking birds, die.
If only he had some way to break the ice. Or convince it he was a friend.
Stab the ice door. Some energy, let's go.
As they made their way to the secret rebel base, Renato felt strange. Zenobia was his prisoner, yet somehow she felt more like an old friend. He wanted to tell her all his secrets, but suddenly the ruins lit up with thousands of fireworks. There was a thunderous roar and dust rose. The caves were collapsing. The caves? You've been playing me? Renato said, and he stared at Zenobia.
I'm sorry, she said, and she seemed almost embarrassed. Then, everything went dark.
When Renato came to, he had a terrible headache. Also, Zenobia's sword was at his throat. And her shackles were gone. So was Lapino. The terrible thing is, he said, I really have missed you. Now that we've destroyed the rebellion, would you consider becoming an advisor to the Emperor's daughter? I'm no one to serve. Everybody serves. Even if it's only destiny. I like to choose my own destinies, he said. The whole point of a destiny is you can't choose. Oh, never mind, she said. Look, if I see you again, I'll have to kill you. He watched her ship soar away. He would see her again, he decided. Even if he had to fight his way across the entire fleet. The Imperial fleet was cleaning up the few rebel remnants. For only a moment, he thought about running. But heroes don't run, even when the world is against them. Even when their cause is hopeless, and their efforts futile, and pointless, and useless, and death painful and guaranteed. He's decided to stop thinking for a while.
Yeah, it just sounded good to stop thinking. Jeez. You cannot run away even if you wanted to.
The road less traveled, thought Renato. How intriguing.
There we go. Let's get ready for the next part. Hopscotch.
Renato's arm was sore, his armor wet with raven blood. He was tired of death. But death was not yet tired of him. The rebels were losing. Badly.
Okay, so I'm gonna...
Renato thought. He and Zenobia had left Sword Fu School together. Taken other names and sailed off into the mists. Not this Zenobia. And not him. For him, there was nothing to do but forge ahead. Kill the Emperor and end this.
Fucking birds! Eject! Time slow down.
Renato had learned so much about...
What was it again? Okay, let's go. Next wave. Ow, fuck. Fuck you. Eat this shit. There we go.
There was an engraving. Maximum capacity, 130.
What? Okay, Mom. Onward and upward. No enemies here? Okay, let's go then. Fucking burn! Stab! There we go.
At last, he reached the Emperor's
There
ship.
we go.
Zenobia was there. Why'd you have to come back? She said. Guess I'm just serving my destiny. He shrugged. You don't know what that word means, she said. Do you ever wonder if things have been different all the time? She said, and drew her sword. In the end, Bernardo lay bleeding out on the deck. Zenobia sat by his side, upset. What are you so upset about? He asked. You wouldn't understand. Why didn't you tell me you were going to leave school? I was afraid you'd convince me not to. I guess I'll have to buy you a drink in the halls of the Valiant then, he told her. And then he was gone. He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up. Like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. But he'd learned another true thing. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
Plus two levels. I want to try and find out the other endings before I find the true ending. Walking the cat. Okay, we did that. Okay, let's do one of these. Do these two, and let's call it a stream.
The book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. Faster than before? And he fell.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer.
Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Bernardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely.
Excuse me.
Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact.
Kitty,
It could corrupt its
kitty.
user into a bloodthirsty
Loving my
monster.
baby.
Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Bernardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. And he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Pretty sure the keys means a true ending. Kinda don't want to go for the truth. Like the key, but I'm like, it's tempting though. Plus, it's like all of these other endings.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters.
The Iblis stone. It would whisper promises in his ear, offer him power for blood. But this time, Bernardo was sure he could master it.
And so, Bernardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away.
Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals? What was he doing here? Last time, the stone had fought him for possession of his own soul.
True.
Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late. That could come in handy in a pinch.
Let's get. We got more skills. Fuck. Fuck those fucking damn things that go boom. Fuck those things. God damn it all. Kick. Or throw.
Check, please.
Let's go through here, see what the hell's over here. Nice, the bird. God damn it, there's more warm of them now. Oh god. Oh god, oh fuck me.
Renato had always wanted a flying carpet. This was more like a flying tabletop. But it would do.
There we go, all dead.
Not quite enough, thought Renato.
In we go. What's over here?
That's the traitor! traitors! Caught the Ravens.
Traitors? What the fuck? I'm no traitor. Stupid birds. Does he go backwards? Oh shit. Fuck. No, crap. Almost died. Shit.
The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
Sounds going down playing the hot stuff.
Renato hated cannon traps. Also, who reloaded these things anyway? He never figured that part out.
Ah, I made it.
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. I can make you mighty. Who said that? Give me blood. It was the stone, eager, thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once.
And he had a sneaking suspicion the gem would try to control him.
Why not capture the core of Sky Ripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. "What's the core?" said the stone anxiously.
But even though Renato knew how evil the gem was, he had a clever plan for dealing with it. The gem could give great power, but it was evil. But Renato had a plan. He would divide the stone into the power half and the evil half. He sought out the sage Calaveras.
Oh, you need a mirror of splitting.
Croaked Calaveras.
I can make one.
Calaveras set up various shiny things. And soon Renato was setting the stone down in the middle of Calaveras' lab. There was a flash, and now Renato was looking at himself. Except with a mustache, and a goatee, and darker hair. There were two Iblis stones. One light and one dark. Renato took the light one. He felt a rush of great power. Now I could defeat the Emperor. Wait a minute. Unfortunately, he couldn't think of any way to use it without hurting someone. That wouldn't be nice. "Give me that," said his evil-looking twin. And he drew his sword. He only got it halfway out of the scabbard when he fainted from the effort. Obviously, neither weak, evil Renato nor powerful, nice Renato was any threat to the Empire. After the Emperor's victory, they were exhibited in a museum until time ended, which was soon after. He had tried something bold and paid the price for it.
Okay. Yet the sage did what?
Every
Sage just
child could
sat
sing
on his
verses about
ass,
the
doing
Sky River,
doing
but
not doing a
ancient
damn
codices
thing.
held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away.
Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals?
God damn it. Oh man. Phone's flashing. See why it's flashing real quick, and I'll get back to the game. Fuck everybody here. There we go, they're all dead. Oh shit. Ow.
Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late.
Oh, God damn it. Ah, fuck.
I'll always
No.
have Paris, he thought. And then he died.
You'll always have Paris. What the fuck does that mean? There we go, all dead birds. Let's go this way.
I need more materials, thought Renato.
Well, damn, this place is going like a hell maze. Some health, thank you. Or not. Or we can always just, or
There
can
had to
always
be
go that way.
some way to use the Iblis stone. It was old, wasn't it? People are so much cleverer now. And Renato was pretty sure he was cleverer than most people.
I know I remember this part. This time it was gonna take me anywhere.
The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders. There were stickers all over the platform for really hot lady foxes, with pictures and addresses and everything.
Jesus.
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. Who said that? It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once,
And he had a sneaking suspicion the gem would try to control him.
why not capture the core of Sky Ripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the Transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. It's the core, said the stone anxiously.
But even though Renato knew how evil the gem was, he had a clever plan for dealing with it.
Fuck it.
Why was he listening to a talking rock? Ah, but the rock had a point. If the stone could truly turn him into a powerful warrior, he could defeat the Emperor with the very weapon the wicked old Toad had sought for himself.
To be a hero, you had to sacrifice old friends sometimes, especially when they've become enemies.
Oh, back
As
here
he
again.
placed the
God damn it.
impossibly black crystal in his gauntlet, Renato had a sudden vision. Charred fields covered in dead ravens below a black sun.
Was it the time of the lost gods before the Transcendent Emperor? Was it the future? Feed souls, it whispered. Take the power. He could feel the stone's hunger for souls, its thirst for blood. All right, I get it. This was going to be interesting.
First sacrifices. Die, birds.
Ravens on Zenobia's island were no match for Reynardo. They screamed as the stones sucked out their souls. And with each death, he felt stronger. Take the power, the stone told him.
He couldn't do worse with Zenobia than he'd done with the core, could he?
It's making me go down here. Fuck.
Sleep tight, thought Reynardo.
Let's go over here.
Zenobia was waiting for Reynardo. She was alone, confident as always. Fire danced at the tips of her claws.
Are you here to surrender? She seemed as cocksure as he felt. But she didn't know he had the stone. And I've missed you too, love. He chuckled.
She spotted the stone and bolted without another word.
Oh, you bitch, get back here.
Interrupting story time. Of course, the lead raven. Now we'll never find out how it ended.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm fucking healing from this shit.
Finally, Reynardo caught up to her. He had never seen her scared before. At school, she'd been the determined, brave one. Now her eyes were wide, frightened. He didn't like seeing her this way. Kill her, whispered the stone. You cannot win your rebellion without it. Please. No, said Zenobia. Not that way. Oh, they had been so close once. Could he really feed her soul to his demonic gem? But if he spared her, he would not get the full power of the stone. Oh, how could he be the hero he wanted to be? With the flick of his wrist, he slashed Zenobia's throat. Her eyes widened even more. And then the light went out of them. Reynardo felt amazing. Power was rushing into him like water from a burst dam. Oh, such brilliance, exulted the Iblis stone. He felt a bit bad about killing her. He was pretty sure she still loved him. But needs must when the devil drives. Reynardo returned to the Farfarer and set a course for the Nexus. The Empire had a communication outpost there. He could call the Emperor directly. It was time to seize the outpost.
Damn.
And let the Emperor know what he had done.
bald. Jeez, that's so much bird murder. Bird and cat murder.
The Nexus was beautiful. He never realized how beautiful. Everything glowed. The wind was so sweet. The sun so soft. The stones so warm. The black raven feathers. Black feathers. Suddenly, his eyes are filled with them. He's falling through smoke, under a dead sun. A voice calls him home. Is this a vision? Whose? Is this the time of the lost gods? Or the future? No matter. What mattered now was killing his way to the Imperial outpost and challenging the Emperor from there.
Oh well, fuck it. Let's go.
Up ahead was Lapino. What was he doing here?
Bernardo! Hey, buddy! Hey there, old buddy! Please don't kill me!
Why would I kill you? Asked Bernardo, although he had been thinking about it.
Well, you've become... look, I mean, no disrespect at all here. Kind of evil? Maybe you should, I don't know, go to the mountains to have a think? See if maybe you're sure the stone is not all that healthy a thing to keep?
I suppose you wanted, Bernardo said, and poked Lapino in the chest for emphasis. Oh, had he just killed Lapino? Oh, damn it.
We just killed a rabbit. Damn. We're just killing everybody, aren't we?
There was an inscription on the platform. Balaleka lessons, with an address.
Go home stretch here.
Renato rampaged through the Imperial outpost like a water buffalo rampaging. At the last moment, he remembered not to kill the Farspeaker Toad. After all, he wanted a word with the Emperor.
But it was only silence. The Emperor was scared, like little girl.
Well, he would gather the rebel army and slaughter the Imperial fleet. Yes! Applauded the Iblistone. Tremendous. Then the Emperor would have to answer his Farspeaker, wouldn't he? Who are you? Asked a distant voice that sounded uncomfortably like Zenobia. What have you become? The mountains. Go to the mountains, urged another that sounded a bit like Lapino.
Damn, I kinda wanna go to the mountains, but yet I kinda wanna keep playing this evil way. Evilish way. Buckets go.
Renato
This is
called the
bite.
rebel council to let them know to gather their forces. Then he killed the Far Speaker Toad. Why? Well, because to make sure his sword was sharp. Oh no, that's awful. So no one else could use it. Yes, that's it. Then he set off for the ruins and the secret rebel base.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
The ruins were crawling with ravens. Probably looking for the secret base, Renato thought. But then he realized they're probably looking for me. They must be very scared of me. Well, here I am. You honest warrior, whispered the Iblastone. And he had to agree with it, for once. Who was as good as Renato? Renato wondered how much Hypatia had known about the book she protected. Enough to tell her son to protect it. Enough to tell Renato to protect her son. He'd let her down there. Renato was so happy. The stone was the best friend he'd ever had. Really, who would bury such a treasure in the desert? Soon, he'd go rally the rebellion and usher a new age for the islands of Erda. Urged the stone. Let it make you emperor. Come to think of it, Renato thought as he put down another raven, why shouldn't I be emperor? How did anybody get to be emperor anyway? By making war. I'm not counting the transcendent emperor, obviously, who had banished the lost gods and started time. Yes, he should be emperor. He would make a great emperor. Right, Stone? Oh, right, boss. These things really slice like ham. The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Renato strode into the council. This thing. Let's make me emperor. They looked confused and nervous. Ah, had he mentioned the emperor thing? He meant to bring that up later. I mean, let's go win this rebellion. He waved his sword around encouragingly. They ran,
Cowards. He'd stop them. He cut down a few to inspire the others. But soon, there was no one to cut down. Well then, he'd have to attack the fleet alone. More for me, he said. Unless it was the stone that said it. Traitors. Traitors, all of them. They'd run rather than following him, rather than cheering him. What should he do to the cowards? Anything he wanted to. After all, he was a true hero, the best warrior there ever was. No one could stop him now. But first, finish him. The Emperor, that is.
Well, damn.
Where was the rebel fleet? They weren't even trying an assault. They were going to miss a day in history. The downfall of this dynasty, and a new one to take its place. He didn't have to kill all the ravens. He could enslave them, and enslave the toads too. All the animals would worship him as a god, for he had once been a god. They would willingly give him their blood and their souls. And the world would change, would become familiar again.
As it's sounding different
I wonder
now.
what happens if I go that way.
It's not talking about Nardo. It's more talking of the fucking stone. Yeah, damn.
Bernardo was glowing with dark power. Already the sun had dimmed. He could do anything, he realized. He could wrap the island safely in smoke again. He was beyond a hero. He was going to become a god again. How odd, he thought, that the Iblis Stone had nothing to say about any of this. Well, no matter. Once he killed this petty-toad emperor, he would bring back the Black Sun.
Oh shit. Yeah, everything's making sense now. I've become some Iblis Stone.
Oh, this really didn't have much in the way of safety features, did it?
Fuck you, Raven. Get it.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Again. This time, he'd make an end of it. He'd screwed up last time, but he had a good feeling about this time.
This time, yeah, good feeling about it. Time to kill the Emperor. Watch the sun nuke itself.
He found the Emperor and the Council huddling by his ship, plotting. They saw him and cowered before him.
Back to hell, fiend.
Croaked the Emperor desperately. In the name of the Transcendent Emperor! Croaked the speaker.
Excuse me.
They held some arcane items he didn't recognize. He simply flexed his will and sucked their souls out of their bodies. And Iblis exulted. It is finished. And the void that had been a mere stone on a sword expanded. It stretched and ripped like a vast womb. And a gaze, black and pitiless as the sun, passed through the void into the land. And so time ended.
Oh wow, so basically Ice ended the world.
Again?
But he already had all the secrets he needed. He was sure of that. He must have not used them the right way. What was the best, worst mistake he could make? Probably trusting that traitor Lapino. The book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. Faster than before?
He fell.
He fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Bernardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. And he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Let's build a Sky
Every
Ripper
child knew
called
about the Sky
Stream.
Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces deep. And then, this Emperor's horrific sacrifices had brought it back to the surface. Renato wasn't exactly sure how to use the legendary weapon. But surely, there must be some way to do it without provoking another catastrophe. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the Earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it. As he set foot on the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out.
That's probably where I get the
Sky
inspiration.
Ripper was a long
Inspiration
shot.
from.
He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys,
That's probably
no
where I get
rescuing
the
old
thinking
friends.
from. For
That was against his nature. Could he stick with it? Anyone ever tell you you have a lovely eye? No? The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods, thousands of thousands had died. But Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one.
Gotta break all the pots, see what's around. Let's go forward. Onward and inward. What's over here? Let's go see.
This was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket.
That would suck total ass. Having to do that. Birds! Triggered! Gotta kill the birds now. Fucking birds. Big old chest. Let's see what this bad boy holds for me. Some health and energy. I'll take that. Kill some more birds. Just fuck these birds. Nobody likes birds. Ah. Let's go this way.
Renato was looking for a big chest. Wait, that didn't sound right.
He's looking for a big chest. Wow. And yes, a material. I thought that a boob joke. I'm gonna kill everything in slow-mo. In you go. Let's go.
These
Oh,
things
crap,
could
almost
really
killed
use a
me.
hand.
Fuck you. It's time to get the fuck out of here. Ah, fuck. Now it's time to beat some more Raven ass. Oh, fuck.
Everything hurt. And then it didn't.
Well then, goddamn. I totally fucked that up. There we go. All done. Hello, viewer. Talk to me. Bam. Okay, we're done. Let's go.
See? That wasn't so hard. There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway.
The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Let's go after this. The thingy. Sphere.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core. He looked up at the old trees around him. They were so big and so old. They'd been there before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend. Was he confronting his own unimportance? What had got into him? He was no philosopher. Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero, and soon he'd prove it.
Let's go this way.
That ought to be enough for a proper sword, he thought.
Okay, upgrade? Nope, I don't think I can upgrade here. But down there, I can. Spiky. Go. Aha. Now more deadly to learn. Reading.
Come on. One fox. No waiting.
Let's carry on. And let's might as well open up that bad boy.
You almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these had to be Imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead.
Shit.
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest. The mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be. What was the point of this gate? Did they think no one would notice the lever?
Okay, there we go.
Ow, 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 ow,
Ah, fuck.
ow.
Fuck. Fucking birds.
Stay frosty.
Oh, fuck. Let's try this again. Fucking birds. There we go. All dead now. It's a rock. Huh.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark art, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow.
Excuse me.
The sick feeling quickly spun away.
Excuse me.
Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first.
No, I
There
gotta
was an
go.
observatory on the Nexus.
Fight.
Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
Cheddar. Debate.
Renato had never been much of a student. At Swordfu School, he'd never read the books, just looked at the pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons, he understood. His gut told him that the Sky Ripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists, right? Renato actually could think of a few things that were worse. But he would make sure they didn't happen this time. Right? Exactly. As he set out down the path, Renato wondered why the parts of the Sky Ripper had only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it. This Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction. And, hopefully this time, just his destruction.
Let's go.
You're being burned.
Fucking hell. Die. Might as well, since I got the cores. What's up here?
Oh, good! I need a new rug for me nest, said the lead raven.
Fuck you, your damn nest. Cheddar. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Come here, kitty. You little shit. Get your furry butt back here.
He was tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon. He turned a knob on the Sky Ripper. It made strange mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to
Oh
hum.
god.
The Sky Ripper was following his every step. At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it? Fire, he said. Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years.
Oh god, I got a bad feeling about this. Jesus. Oh crap, it's firing. Holy fuck balls.
The Sky Ripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them.
Bernardo had a thought. Please? He asked. The Sky Ripper began to glow. Boom! The outpost burst into flame.
Ravens flapped out screaming, wings on fire. The base was his. The far speaker toad came hopping out.
Renato,
It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia.
don't use the Sky Ripper. It will destroy the world.
Yeah, sure it will, cracked Renato. Pull the other one.
If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras.
That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating.
Of course she would say that. He was supposed to hurry and bring the Sky Ripper to the council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right? Damn it.
Let's go with it this one.
Zenobia was so frustrating. If she couldn't get you with magic, she'd get you with reason and caution and sensible arguments. Of course, Calaveras, he might not know the latest scientific theories with evidence and all, but Renato preferred the knowledge in the old books anyway. What they said felt true, and that's what's important. You should be careful, though. She'd probably guess he'd come here. That meant she'd probably set an ambush for him.
Renato landed on the island, expecting Zenobia's ambush at any moment.
On the other hand, there did seem to be a lot of ravens around here. Were they just lost patrols stirring up trouble? Were they looking for him? If she was going to ambush him, wouldn't she keep the road clear so he wouldn't be on his guard? Or, unless they were part of the ambush, the obvious reasons he was meant to see to take his mind off the ones he wouldn't see. God, after all these years, she still drove him crazy.
Let's keep going. Should be almost at the end.
That was awesome.
Ow, fuck me.
You've got such delicious looking eyeballs. Caught the lead, Raven. Thank you, I think, said Renato. It never hurt to be polite.
Zenobia's ambush never materialized. Could she be sincere? Calaveras was a great scholar. Renato doubted even Zenobia could convince him to say something he didn't believe. And if he was working for the Empire, he'd never have told Renato about the Sky Ripper in the first place. He would listen to the wise old toad, but that didn't mean he had to agree.
And you're dead. Oh, fucking hell. Die already, damn it. This is glowing for some reason. Let's open it. It's rock. Damn.
He didn't even need to aim it.
Why? Why did he listen to Zenobia? She was the enemy. Of course she didn't want him to use his shiny new weapon. The thing was, though, he was appallingly honest. I mean, she wouldn't lie even to an enemy. At least she'd never lied to him. So if she said he had to see Calaveras, it probably was a good idea to see him. Ugh, it was infuriating.
Okay, enough of that. Let's go.
Calaveras examined the Sky Ripper eagerly. How often does a new relic surface? He brushed off Zenobia's warning. Oh, what do sorceresses know about physics? However, he did know a few ways to make the weapon even more precise and more powerful, and quickly went off to tinker. Soon the Sky Ripper no longer whined, but thrummed like a hummingbird taking off. It was ready for war.
And so, Renato thanked Calaveras and took the legendary weapon to the final battle. But where were the other rebel ships? Had something happened?
He could defeat the Imperial fleet with the Sky Ripper, but he couldn't govern. He was not cut out to be Emperor, and he'd no desire to be one.
There were a few rebel ships here and there, but there was no organization to the battle. Where was the Council flagship? Something had gone terribly wrong. But he had the Sky Ripper, and the Ravens had nowhere they could hide.
Let's take a shortcut.
Renato had a feeling that was the back door to something. But what?
To enemy fleet.
The Council speaker was on the deck, bleeding. Why was she even here? They found our base, she croaked. The Council, all dead. We must surrender. No, we could still win this, said Renato. I have the Sky Ripper. He would be a real hero and save the day, even when all appeared to be lost. You're a good boy, said the speaker. And then she died.
Well, damn. Oh, okay, let's have to go over here. God damn it. Die! Fucking all of you. Aha, hello, Emperor.
The Sky Ripper. With a tremendous whoosh, the Emperor's flagship went up in flames. And for good measure, he played the beam around it, setting all the other nearby Imperial ships on fire too. And he watched them burn. See? He could use the Sky Ripper safely.
The few remaining rebels gave a cheer, and then they stopped cheering. There was a hole in the air.
Oh god, not again!
Blackness, like a tear in a parchment. Wind was blowing into it, widening it. It grew larger. Crates were falling off ship decks, upwards into the hole. And the world itself seemed bent, like the reflection on a curved mirror as it poured into the ravenous hole. He guessed that somewhere behind that ever-widening hole were gods that had long been exiled. But it didn't really matter. Time was done for here, and soon it was. Oh, again? But he already had all the secrets he needed. He was sure of that. He must have not used them the right way. What was the best, worst mistake he could make? Probably trusting that traitor Lapino.
Still, so many fucking endings to go through, like, jeez. Oh well. It's time to call it a stream. Good night, everybody!